How's it going, guys? Bibi here with another figure review. So today I'm reviewing this awesome figure of Totori from the Atelier series. So this figure is the 1/8 scale figure of Atelier Totori, the adventurer of Arland, Totori herself, by Phat Company. She is a reasonably old figure. She was released in June of 2012 and I've been eyeing her up for ages. This was a second-hand figure that I bought off of Ami. It was box quality A, figure A, and it's unopened, and it cost me 7,670 yen, or about 96 New Zealand dollars, so pretty reasonable. I'm so happy to have her. There are a lot more Atelier figures that I want to buy, but this is the oldest one and I've been wanting her for ages. So let's have a look at the box that she's in and have a look at the figure inside. Here's the box. There's some nice detailing around the outside of the screen. On the right hand side you see that there's a full image of the figure itself, and then there's the Phat Company logo down on the right hand corner. On the back there is a couple of pictures showing off the figure and then a closer look at Totori herself, and then on the left hand side is exactly the same as the right. On the front there is also the Phat Company logo, just to show you who is the manufacturer, so that's good to see. We'll open her up. The top of the box is actually really nice. It has some really nice details. It's all sealed up, so I'm going to open up that myself. And now we'll pull her out. Down at the bottom of the box you can see there are some instructions, so I'm going to have to look through that manual at some point in time, I'm sure. You can see that she has a lot of plastic, which is great to see. You never want your figure to be under packaged and then end up damaged, so it's great to see that she's got all the plastic to keep her safe. There she is. She's very pretty. I absolutely love the skirt, just how translucent it is, how pearly, and that bow is beautiful. I love that. As you see, the sleeves has a lot of detail, and so does the front of her. She even has her little bag from the game, so that's nice. And she's holding her little notebook. The hat, I love the hat. I've always loved that from the game. And we'll go down to her boots and you see that they've even got quite a lot of nice detail as well. So there she is. We'll have a closer look at her staff. This is the staff from the start of the game that she starts off with. The jewel is see-through, which is rather nice to see. Now let's have a look at her base. This base has so much stuff from the game, it is amazing. I absolutely love it. From the bunny rabbit that sits on her bed to the Atelier sign that sits outside of her workshop, and even the little stars that and the beads that sit around her room. There is just so much. Even the steering wheel to her ship and the barrel. I love it. Now, we've got to get Totori onto her base. When I was putting her on, I thought this was going to be rather easy. Yeah, it wasn't. It took me about 10 to 15 minutes to get this on, and I had to take her off screen to actually get her on. There is a certain way to put it actually onto the base. I actually had to check the manual to see how to put her on the base. So that was a bit of a concern, the fact that I couldn't do it myself. Now, on to putting her staff together. So pretty much it slides into her hand, so I've got to take off the bottom first so then I can put the pole into her hand. It was rather difficult to get into. You have to put some force and wiggle it. So if you do get this, make sure that you do put a bit of force behind it. I was actually worried that I was going to break it, but it's pretty sturdy, so that's fine. Pop the end of that back on. Doesn't take much, it's just a screw-on job, and there we go. She now has all her bits and pieces put together. She is an absolutely stunning figure. From head to toe, I absolutely love it. We'll take a 360 look at her, and as you see, there is so much little bits and pieces that went into making this figure. As I said before, there's the steering wheel from her boat. You make a ship in the game, so it's nice to see that that's there. There's the bunny rabbit and the pillow that sits on her bed, and even the curtains and the beads that are sitting around her bedroom. The steering wheel of the boat actually has quite a lot of shading, and it makes it look really, really nice. It's painted really well. It's a bit of a shame about that seam line up at the top of her head when you look at her hair, but that's to be expected. It's not a huge glaring fault, but it's just a shame that you can really see it. We will take one last close look at her. As you see, she just has the most cutest outfit ever. I love the gold and the pink together. I think it works so well. The other thing that I absolutely love about this base is the fact that they've got these little test tubes and little bottles sitting in the background. She's an alchemist, so it really makes sense. The other thing is that they went with the running joke of the barrel. The barrel in the Atelier series is a running joke where they would say the word barrel whenever you click on a barrel in game, which I absolutely loved. I thought was hilarious, and I love the fact that they have put this in there as a bit of a homage to the running joke. Overall, I absolutely love this figure. For the amount that I bought her for, I'm very, very happy with her. From the bow on her back to her staff, the whole costume, it's all very reminiscent of the game, and because this is my favourite game of all time, I'm so happy to have this one. So I've had this figure for quite a while now. It's been a couple of months actually, and I'm still in love with her. I'm still in love with her as much as I was when I first opened her. I do have a few gripes here and there, but the main things I really want to mention that I love about this figure is, first off, the base. The base is absolutely beautiful. It has so much detail and so many throwbacks to the game itself. Out of any figure that I own, her base is one of my favourites. I know it's kind of strange to say that I have a favourite base out of any of my figures, but I actually do now. This base is exquisite and it just has so much going on, and it's amazing. The one downside with this base though is that she is actually really hard to put onto it. The little pegs, they're not really even pegs, they're little plastic stands to put into her feet. They are very, very fidgety and very hard to put her onto. The first time I went to put her on this base, it took me about 15 minutes just to get her on there because it was so hard to plonk her on, where it should just be an easy process to put your figure onto its base. There was actually some instructions in the instruction booklet on how to put her on her base. So that shows you how kind of in-depth it was to just get a figure onto a base. Onto the figure herself. The things that I absolutely love about this figure is that she is very true to what she looks like in the game. That's one of the things that I loved about Totori in the game, is that she just had so much definition and so much going on with her outfit, and she was just too adorable. Her boots have a lot of detail in them, down to just little bows that are on the front of it, and even the little diamonds that are inside the top part of her boot. I love the colour, and it even has a little bit of shading there, so that's really nice. Onto the skirt, I love how translucent it is. It's a clear plastic and it really suits the actual figure itself. The thing that I don't like about the skirt, however, is it looks kind of flat. The skirt in the game meant to look a bit more poofy and have a lot more volume, but this one is a lot more flattened. If you turn her to the side, you can see what I mean. I've got a picture here, you can see how kind of flat it is. It should be popping out a bit more. And to tell you the truth, that's the same gripe that I've got with the rest of her outfit. Her shirt, she's a very skinny and thin character, so the fact that she's so petite, when it comes to her shirt and her sleeves, it all looks very flat. It all looks kind of squished together, which is a real shame. I didn't think it was going to look like that when I opened the figure, and when I saw that, it was a glaring fault, and I didn't really like it that much. It's still a bit of a nitpick for me. This is an old figure, so I can let it pass, especially considering this is still a really nice figure. This figure also has a lot of intricate little things that I absolutely love, like her satchel. The fact that she's got her little bag there, and it even has the little shell and the little bottle that she has hanging off of it. That's a really nice little touch. I love the fact that there are just these little intricacies that a lot of figures may have just looked over, but they've added them, which I love it. And even when I get up close to the satchel itself, it's not just a flat brown. It even has a little buckle to show where it would buckle in at the front, and on the flap it has little details to show that that's what it looks like in the game. So that is amazing that they've gone that in depth. Onto the shirt and the jacket, they even have little intricacies there. If you look up really close to the front of her shirt, you can see where the seam lines would be if you were actually making the outfit itself, which is really nice. I love the fact that it actually looks like the outfit was made instead of just being a flat standard costume. The blouse that she has underneath her dress also has some buttons and ruffles, which is really nice to see. That again, they're adding so much little details that a lot of other figure manufacturers might have just skipped over. They might have just made it as a flat standard shirt instead of adding in the little ruffles and the little buttons. So that's why I love this figure, is the fact that they've put so much detail. And even when you move up to her hat here, they've got the same clear textured plastic that they've got on the skirt. If we move on to the back of her, you see that she has a clear, almost ombre coloured bow on her back. This is one of my favourite parts of this figure, which I know it's strange to say because it's just a bow on her back, but it is just done so elegantly and it looks so wavy and it works so well with this figure. I just love it so much. It really does justice to the character itself. The other accessory that I can't forget about is of course her staff. Her staff, this is the standard staff that you start with at the beginning of the game, and it's a really nice throwback to see that they picked the starter one and not the one that you get at the very end, because this one is definitely a lot more iconic. The fact that they have the little jewel here, it's actually see-through, is really nice. It just kind of makes it work. The last couple of things that I want to mention is, first off, I love the fact that she has her little notebook. That's the little notebook that she uses when you go and save and when you get your recipes for your alchemy. So again, another little throwback to the game. Lastly is her face and her skin tone. The one thing I do want to say about that is that her face is a little bit flat. There's no shading in her skin at all, and just the expression on her face is a little bit flat, which is a real shame, but from afar it's not too bad. Like, it could be worse. The other thing that I've got to mention is her hair. Her hair has a bit of shading and a little bit of texturing. You can see a little bit of a seam line when you go up onto her head, and the shadowing only and the shading only really goes down to the bottom of her hair. There's not really any up at the top of her head, but I mean, you're not really looking at her head anyways when you've got her turned around this way, so it's not too much of a problem. It's not chunky, it's not too chunky, which is good, because I hate it when I buy figures that it's just chunky and it looks terrible. She's not too bad. So all in all, I absolutely love this figure, and I need to buy the rest of the Atelier series when it comes to the figures. There are so many of them now, and I have been wanting this one for so long, and now I can tick it off my bucket list for buying it. I highly suggest you buy this if you love the Atelier series. So let me know in the comments below if you have her or if you have any of the other ones from the series. I am so jealous if you do have them. What do you think of this figure, and do you think that you'll buy it? Leave it all down there. I'm looking forward to reading it all. Make sure to give this video a big like and share it out to all your friends. I'd really appreciate it, and it helps me out a lot. Also, go check out the rest of my channel if you haven't already. I've got plenty of anime content on there, including anime news, anime figure reviews, and anime recommendations. So I've got plenty there for you to watch. I'm on social media. I've got a Twitter and a Facebook, and I'm online constantly, and I also post up little sneak peeks of figures that I do buy before I do these figure reviews, so make sure to come like and follow me on there. If you want to see more from me and more videos like this, then please make sure to subscribe for a wide range of anime content. From Always Mika, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!